This time I'm gonna talk about the diaphragm. And the diaphragm is a very important anatomical structure that separates between the thoracic and the abdominal regions. And the first thing that we need to know about the diaphragm is that it's a muscular tendinous structure. And we mentioned that specifically because the diaphragm is different from other muscular structures in the human body, because normally we know that a muscle let's for example take a spindle shaped muscle. We have in the middle, we have this muscular mass in the middle, and on the periphery we have the origin and insertion of the muscle, which is represented by the tendons. But the diaphragm is different because of its anatomical position. So, as we can see, if we draw a sagittal cross section, this is the sternum, and this is the vertebral column. The diaphragm will be attached on the tip of the sternum and on the anterior aspect of the vertebral column, the ventral aspect of the vertebral bodies, as we will talk later. And laterally it will be attached on the ribs. So what's different about the diaphragm is that the tendinous part, instead of being on the periphery, it's on the middle part of the diaphragm. So this is the tendinous part, and at the points of attachment we have the muscular part. So what we're going to do is that we are going to look anteriorly at the diaphragm, and we're going to pop it up like a car hood so that we can look inferiorly and see the structures and the contents of this of the diaphragm. So we'll start with the vertebrae. We have L1, L2, L3, L4, and then we have, these are the caustiform processes of L1, and then we have the ribs. We have the 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th, and 7th. Again, 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th, and 7th. And here in the middle, of course, we have the sternum. So how does the diaphragm look like? If we looked at the diaphragm inferiorly, we would see the tendinous part here in the middle, and it has 3 leaflets. So we have 1 anterior and 2 posterior, and this would be the right side, this would be the left side because it's a mirror. So here in the tendinous part we have a hiatus, we have an opening for the inferior vena cava. This is the first thing that we need to know. Then we have the muscular attachment like that. From this illustration we can see that the muscle is attaching on the sternum, on the ribs, the coastal ribs, and on the vertebral bodies. So first off, we're going to talk about the lumbar attachment. The lumbar attachment is represented by 2 structures on the lateral and anterior aspects of the lumbar vertebrae, which are called diaphragmatic pillars. And they're called pillars because they are elongated muscular structures. And the right diaphragmatic pillar is thick and it extends all the way from L1 to L4. On the other hand, the left diaphragmatic pillar is thinner and it only extends from L1 to L3. So right and left diaphragmatic pillars. And then these pillars would join each other in the middle, like this, forming a ligament, along with some muscular structures on the T12. This ligament is called the median arcuate ligament. Median arcuate ligament. And as we can see, this here is a hiatus. It's an opening, which is called the aortic hiatus. So through this hiatus, we have the aorta, so the aorta, the azygos and hemiazygos veins, in addition to lymph nodes, thoracic lymph nodes. And these lymph nodes can be then these two extensions from the two sides of the pillars will continue anteriorly and in a higher position to form another hiatus, which is called the esophageal hiatus. So through this hiatus, the esophagus will pass. So we have the esophagus plus the anterior and the posterior vagal trunks. Posterior and anterior vagal trunks.